Let's have a look in Brett's bag.
Oh, what's in Brett's bag?
Brett's
What do you got there? You got a big bag. All right,
This
so you got the
Rubik's
big...
this Rubik's World bag. How good is it? How versatile? We've got a few of them in stock now.
We have.
Just a couple.
Yeah, just a couple.
That's fantastic. We don't do things by halves, do we?
No, never.
What's in my bag? Oh,
Oh, that's a car of some kind.
it is a car, and there's bits of car. What do you want to talk about first?
Why are there chunky bits of car in there?
All right, we'll talk
We
about
get
the
little
chunky
car.
bits of
Oh, the
car.
chunky bits? All right, we got chunky bits.
Get it out. So what we have here, one of our lead team drivers, Mark Lawler, has bestowed me with the opportunity to borrow his car for the RCGP coming up in South Australia.
Okay, yes.
Coming up in mid-February.
Yep.
So he sent his car over in the mail.
Yep.
And said, give it a freshen up, give it a run, and then come over and race it. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So just wanted to show you guys sort of something what it's all about. Now this started life as a E819 RS.
Yep.
So it is a whole buggy, and this is the various parts, the various stages of rebuilding it.
Yeah. Okay.
That I've done. So that I mean, you
The whole front end.
effectively 4 screws, or actually 6 screws, and the whole front end comes off.
Okay.
From the bottom of the chassis, which makes these HBs really, really good to work on. And you can see there that some of the stuff on the front there probably needs a bit of repair and attention.
Yeah.
Like the drive shafts and the arms and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all just part of the fun. Here I've got the rear gearbox section, and that's going back together. So I've completely rebuilt the diff. Re-greased it. I've put 7,000 weight oil in there. That's the hot setup apparently. Re-shimmed the gearbox, so it's got
clean.
So it's got a nice mesh.
Yep.
Sort of resurfaced, just with a bit of wet and dry. Resurfaced the mating, so it does sit nice and flat on the chassis.
Yep.
So I effectively screw the gearbox cases together.
Yeah.
And then make sure that everything's all tapped nice. All the threads are tapped nice and going to sit nice on the chassis.
Yeah.
So there's no gearbox distortion when it all goes together.
Okay.
Because that what sandwiches the gear mesh together. It sandwiches the diff in,
yes,
which is the gear mesh. And
right,
if you have problems with that during the race, because it's likely that I'll have 1 or 2 crashes, if not more, can put things like that or misalign things under undue stress and damage the gears.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is not a new buggy, but it's coming together really, really well. I'm really happy with it. And I like to rebuild the diffs a few days, if I can, before I actually mount them to the chassis, just to confirm and double check that there's no leaks.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I did actually just reuse all the O-rings and all the gaskets and stuff. And it was all wet and leaky before. Yeah. But that can just be through undue stress and use as well. So, or if you sprayed maybe a gearbox lube in there. Yeah. So I wasn't too sure. Okay. But yeah, so various stages of rebuild. So that's how the front end pretty much comes off. And then when it goes back together, it sort of looks all nice and shiny and clean, much like this. Beautiful gears. You can see the underneath. You can see here how the case is all wet. Oh, so yes. It's all shiny. Yeah. That indicates that the diff's leaking. Yeah. Could also be if you sprayed like a lubricant in there for gears. Yeah. But that's why this one here
is that, which is totally clean.
Is all matte. Yeah. Yeah. And that's because it's all resealed now, not leaking. Yeah. And even though the oil is quite thick compared to shock absorbers, like 7,000 weight, it's still not like the 20 million that we took out of the X-Max diff.
Still got flow, right?
Still got flow. So if it does leak, it will actually look wet and make a mess. Yeah. So really enjoying that. Okay. And a rebuild of something like this would probably take me in the vicinity to do a nice proper rebuild on it, polish the hinge pins and the shocks and everything. Yeah. It's probably longer than building a kit, realistically. Yeah. Because you've got to strip it, clean it, then put it back together. Whereas with a new kit, you're obviously just putting it all together from new. Yep. So it'd probably take about 12 hours, I reckon, to get this one track ready. Okay. And you might do that to your 8-scale racer. Depends how much you use it, but you might do it just before big races or every now and then, maybe a couple times a year, give it a birthday. Because they're that strong and reliable, they generally won't. You know, you really sort of struggle to DNF or do not finish the race with one. Yeah. You can get them into quite a state. So I'm really glad. Thanks, Mark, for sending that over.
Thank you.
We'll get this rebuilt beautiful, and I can't wait to give it back to him really, really nice as well at the end of the race meeting. Yeah. So that is an electric 8 scale that I've been working on.
So you got something else in your bag as well.
Something else I got in my bag. What's that?
That is a Yokomo buggy.
It is. Now, we've all seen it before. There's another bag down there.
Oh.
We've all seen it before because that's my two-wheel one.
Oh.
This is a DTM 3.1. This one here is, how good are these bags?
Very handy.
YZ4 SF2. Now, these are the current models from Yokomo, and that's why I raise them. But I spent the day at the track last Sunday.
How good was it?
And I smashed them a little bit, but I went through, honestly, about 20 or 30 batteries. I just circulated pretty much until I ran out of tires. The four-wheel drive probably got the least use because it was quite a hot day.
Right.
And it seems to, once the chassis gets hot, or once you did a 5-minute run, it took a long time to cool down. So, but I had two-wheel drives there.
It was like over 30 degrees, wasn't it?
Yeah. But we set up under the pit area there out of Keilor. This one had probably about 5 or 6 runs. You can see the tires on them. Completely bald. But that's how with four-wheel drive you could get away with it. And I wasn't going out there chasing setup or trying to really. I was just trying to learn to drive and practice. You know what I mean? There's no point me trying to go and set a car up and stuff like that on tires like this, or when you don't even barely know the track. So after 20 or 30 batches, I like to think now that I know the track pretty well and I'm pretty happy. Now it's about going down there, you put fresher tires on and start to work on the cars, make changes, see if it makes you better or worse. One of the cars didn't even have a transponder in it. So but the good thing about it, there was, I think that day, there was 14 hours track time. I think I had it up on, the live timing. There was 1,400 laps turned.
Wow.
By all the people, and it wasn't a race day. It was just a Sunday, and I was really lucky. I went there, and you get to also run on the track with some of the best people in the country. So Simon Healy was there, Nathan Healy, Ray Monday, Lachlan Monday. So the fastest guys, the Isagens were there, Jordan Isagen was there. So you really got to pit yourself against the best guys in the country. So Keilor Off-Road Club. Obviously, we're major sponsors there, but we really enjoy it. I love spending time down there, turning some laps and smoking some tires, and the cars did really well, and that's how they come back. I haven't rebuilt these are straight from the track, so a lot different to the 8 scale car as far as getting dirty and muddy and stuff, because the tracks are oiled. I suppose the only drawback is it's quite abrasive on your tires, but the
rest of it's really clean.
The rest of it's really clean, but it's not that bad on that, and the condition of the cars as well. It does put the motors and stuff under a bit of stress. But that's only because I've got them tuned up in that way as well. But I just set 5-minute timer on my 10px transmitter. And then it would buzz and tell me when my 5 minutes was up, and I'd pull off the track. Because with the batteries in these cars, you could easily go for 10 or 12 minutes, and you would probably
start cooking.
Something would fail for sure, even after 5 minutes. And I can say that even after all those times, and I did have a few crashes. Let's not beat around the bush, but the cars came back immaculate. Not a single part missing, broken, bent. The fan on my two-wheel drive motor might have come apart.
Well, it doesn't have any blades.
It doesn't have any blades.
Okay, fair enough.
It's come unglued from the bearing. I noticed it was loose. It was starting to make noise. I didn't worry about it. And then I just came back in after a run, and that was gone.
So it's still spinning?
Well, there's nothing there to spin because the magnets are
okay.
The plastic in the fan blades, but it would just come unglued from the bearing. The bearing's still there.
I guess you need another one of them, eh?
Well, that's generally why I don't run fans, because it's just another thing to break. So as long as you keep the 5 minutes and your stuff, I mean, the stock cars you probably have wound up harder than the mod cars. Especially somebody of my capabilities. You notice there the ESC doesn't even have a fan in the two-wheel drive. Yes, the speed control was getting hot, but not burning hot. I mean, everything was getting hot. It was 30 degrees, 7.5. But the four-wheel drive definitely gets a lot of heat. So everything's working a lot harder. Just because you're generating so much more traction. So 5 minutes, the whole chassis and everything's like. So I would put it down, put it in the shade, take the battery out of it. But it would take about half an hour to cool down. But that gave me enough time to run like three tool drives. I could run one tool drive, let it cool down, and then run the other one, and then come back and go back to the other one again straight away. So it was really good. Smashed out some laps, burnt some tires. had a really good day. So yeah, the latest stuff from Yokomo, and we should be even enjoying some new products from them next week.
Yeah, it should be.
So I'm really
can't wait.
excited by that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the current stuff is really, really good. Do yourself a favor.
Nice.
Yep. Down at Kilo.